Testing, testing. Yep.
Good. Awesome. Cool. Great, grand, wonderful. Uh, Oi, oi. Welcome to the Derp Derp channel. I'm Ski Nerd, over there is Derp Derp, and we're going to review the next section of One Piece, Dressarosa Part 4. This section had nothing but flashbacks in it. So strap in and prepare for Child, Trafalgar Law, and Kurazan. Cool. If you like this stuff, like and subscribe, blah, blah, blah. You know what to do. Alright, cool. Well, let's first talk about a first part out of 4. The first part is called, or I deemed it, Conjuro and Kuros and Rebecca, or Kairos, however you want to say it. So, Conjuro is found. The Kinemon, he's looking for his friend Conjuro this entire time, ever since, what's that, Punk Hazard?
Yep.
And he finally finds his friend, and we find him, and he's hiding in the junkyard down below everything, and he's eating some cabbage, and he's like, "Oh, hello, friend. You found me. Do you want some of my cabbage?" And he doesn't want any cabbage because cabbage looks gross. We learned that he is a life pick ability. He can draw something and it comes to life. Hence, he had a wall of protection. He was able to make a room, and he was protected from getting kidnapped by the Treble and Sugar. So that was nice. And he helps everyone escape from the junkyard. He draws very poorly, very poor ladders. He can't draw for shit. Like, I can draw better than him, and I can't draw. So his ladders really suck. Anyways,
They just aren't straight.
yeah, they're jaggedy and uneven and just really bad.
And everybody comments on it every single time.
Yep.
You draw something.
And the next one is Kuros and Rebecca. Basically, they reunite, and it's all oh my god, they're seeing each other for the first time in forever. And they make it to the 4th floor, and then there's this whole fight with Diamante. Diamante is like attacking Rebecca, and at the very end, Kairos comes and saves her because he's too powerful for her, because she's only 16. And she also she has the key with her, and then she loses it, and then she finds it again. She eventually gives it to Trafalgar Law. Eventually. Then we have the hard-boiled fight, where Frankie and
Senior Pink.
Senior Pink are going at it. This is the part where he mentions Grandma in Alley and tricks Senior Pink into thinking that there's a literal grandma in an alley somewhere. And so he takes this time to infiltrate the Smile Factory, and then we get a fight between them both that's more of a back and forth, tit for tat thing. And he kisses the Smile manager. How do you say her name? It's really hard to say. Kiyuin. That's it. Kisses her. That's fun. And there's a quote here, so I gotta find that really quick. Oh, right. So you have like the little people trying to save the other little people that are in the factory. And there's like a little like message that they write on the wall, and it says, "Unlocked from inside. Unlock from inside the door. Cool. And then there's like other message that says, "Hey, we've been tricked. Don't listen to them. These guys are liars. The princess is not here," kind of thing. Cool. And then yeah, we meet the 20-year-old Smile manager, Kyuin, and she's very ugly. And yeah. Anyways, then we get Robin's quote, which is they're fighting, and they're trying to protect Luffy and get Luffy up to get to Doflamingo as fast as possible. And she says, "Our captain is worth risking our lives." Um, so that was a meaningful quote. Also, another quote from Doflamingo is he's talking to Bellamy, I think. He says, "Anything is fine with me as long as I can destroy this world." And Bellamy is trying to still be on the good side of Doflamingo, and it's really a messed up situation. A lot of mental abuse, I guess. Um, Also, a couple things. Cavendish, during during this part of the fight, he believes that Doflamingo has zero intention of letting people go alive. He believes the games are fake, and that even if they turn them all in, um, he's gonna kill them anyways, because people know too much, pretty much. And then Viola finds Princess Mancherry in the palace with her powers. All right. So then we get to the next part. Let's see. What's the life picture ability? All right. Princess Mancherry is in the quote unquote naughty room, and then there was like a little backstory of how Violet knows about the naughty room, and she used to be placed in there all the time for being naughty, or for being a being a brat, pretty much, which makes sense. Um, all right. So the next part is Usopp's plan and stratagem. So we'll start with Usopp's plan because that is the best thing ever. Basically, Usopp's plan is to shoot Sugar and terrify the crap out of her. So, in order to protect Luffy and Trafalgar Law from getting turned into toys. Um, Also, because if they do get turned into toys, they will immediately be forgotten, and they won't have any reason to continue fighting. So he's basically constantly lining up his shot, and he can't be distracted and stuff like that. So he packs his ammunition called the bagworm, which we don't know what it is. Something that has to do with greens and stuff. Um, and he's relying on Viola's clairvoyance to see where she is, and she has to be able to communicate to Usopp exactly where she is. Otherwise, he won't be able to get the shot off. Um, and we also learn that it's not as straightforward a shot as we first think. He has to shoot a shot through a window with iron bars on it, and he has to also like shoot it upwards as well. So and then he also has to focus on where the wind is going and all that stuff. It's pretty crazy. Um, he has to know exactly where she is, because he only gets one shot with this. She's As he's aiming his shot, she's moving around. She's talking to Luffy and Trafalgar Law, but they're also moving around. Um, and she is behind. Sometimes she's behind a post, and sometimes she's not. So he has to wait for the opportune time to get it. Also, there's like pirates behind them, fighting, trying to get to them, to get their bounties and stuff. So that's a lot of distractions and stuff. So he's all sweating. He's all he's all second guessing everything. Um, and he also can't stop shaking either, so that doesn't help. Um, and at one point, he starts seeing auras. He can see like Luffy's aura and Sugar's aura, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, does he have hockey now? Like he's able to concentrate so much, he's able to see that aura. Um, and right before he shoots it, he's like, "What are the wind factors at?" Oh, the wind is going from east to west, and you're like, "Oh crap! You have to think about this thing, about all these things you have to think about just take one shot." Um, and also with this bagworm shot, it's not just a, a single shot. There are multiple stages. It's like launching a rocket with the multiple stages. It's like launching a rocket into space, pretty much. And So he initially shoots it, and then there's like a second stage where it shoots off in a separate direction from where it shot off originally, adding more dimensions of insane detail and insane like calculations he has to put into the shot, and it's just him doing it too, which is absolutely insane and crazy, which is what makes the scene so awesome and so spectacular to watch, especially uh, when he asks Conjuro to make something special for him to try to scare Sugar, which is a replica of his face eating the Tabasco or Tabasco hot sauce thing, and he is somehow through maybe possibly a miracle, he's able to get the shot off and scare the pants out of her once again, and she passes out. Whew. And I don't even want to think about how long it took the creator, what's his name,
Ichiro Oda.
Ichiro Oda, how long it took him to create just this scene, all this detail for just this scene. It just my brain can't comprehend what happened with that. So there's that. Just something to think about when taking a shot. Boom. All right. I know that was really long, but that was totally worth it. All right. So the next one is the stratagem, and so Luffy and Trafalgar Law has um, talk about a stratagem before and like how they're gonna take down Doflamingo and attack him and stuff like that. As soon as Trafalgar Law is released, Luffy's like, "Oh, we need to go attack him," and Law's like, "No, we have to think about it because think about how to attack him because he's really smart. He's gonna see right through your just attack strategy." Um, but they kind of get into an argument, and they actually with this argument they are able to trick Doflamingo. They're able to pretend that they're arguing during the fight, and they actually get um, an attack off on him. It's like Luffy's hawk,
Red Hawk.
Red Hawk. Thank you. That he does on him, and they work together to like give him damage and stuff like that. So that's really fun. And also Treble got cut into multiple pieces with Trafalgar Law's other attack, his radio knife, which means you can't reassemble yourself right away. We have to wait a couple minutes, so it can be devastating, especially if you're in a battle. Cool, awesome, great, grand, wonderful. Oh right, then in this section we got a bunch of Doflamingo quotes. At this point, Doflamingo is absolutely pissed off and what he has lost so far. So he has lost his smile factory and he has lost his toys all in one fell swoop, and he wants to get revenge. And he's able to actually keep his cool. But let's see some of those quotes. The first one is from Trafalgar Law. This is important. He says he's talking to Luffy pretty much. If you lose your cool, you'll get killed. So don't lose your cool. Don't be stupid. Don't let him get under your skin, pretty much. Then Doflamingo, he says the weak have no choice about how they die, referring to Bellamy. And he also says, I used to possess the most unobtainable power in the world. Oh, and what is that? Well,
Rich.
no, he was a
Yeah.
celestial dragon.
Yeah, that royalty, that's what I meant.
Yeah, well, they have this unattainable power. I think they kind of get into it. It's not the money. It's the power that what it's from. It's like something that rivals the will of D, and which we don't know what it is yet. But anyways, let's see stratagem. What else did I write? Oh, right, Bellamy as a puppet. We also get Doflamingo talks about his dad and how his dad was an idiot and a fool, and how he killed his dad, and he
His dad essentially wanted to give up being a celestial dragon and just living as a normal human.
Yep, and the power of eternal youth was a thing that he can obtain when someone has the Operation Fruit, and that was all. It was supposed to be. Well, I mean, we'll get into it, but it was supposed to be his brother Kurazan, but then Law took the fruit instead. So the person doing the operation for the eternal youth, basically, you sacrifice yourself to give someone else your life so they can live a long time. So, anyways, that's cool. Let's see, what else is number 2? Let's see. Oh, let's go over some of the side things that were part of it. Let's see, I want to make sure I get everything, because this is all like important information and vital. I wrote way too many notes for this part because there was just nothing but news dumps everywhere. Anyways, we get Doflamingo's story about Dad abandons power, as you said. How his family was tortured. They were all strung up and basically shot out with arrows, and they were all blindfolded. And people were getting their rage out on these celestial dragons that they had in front of them. Doflamingo brought his dad's head to marry Geoise. However, they rejected his re-entry to become a celestial dragon because now his family was now a renegade family, and now his destiny is to destroy everything that the celestial dragons dominate, and that's his goal. And I wrote a question: how does Doflamingo have "quote unquote" unattainable power? I think that gets answered soon. I can't remember. And then Law's power plus unattainable power. Law's power, which is Operation Fruit, plus this unattainable power equals perpetual youth surgery, aka eternal youth. So whatever he has inside of him, he's able to get. So that's fun. All right. So part 3, we're halfway done. What's our time at?
20 minutes.
20 minutes. Okay. So it might be a little longer. Sorry, guys. This part is basically nothing but flashbacks. So we have 2 simultaneous flashbacks. We have flashbacks within flashbacks within flashbacks, and it's really annoying Um, but it just is what it is, and this is how the guy wanted to tell the story. Um, so the first one is Law's flashbacks. So it goes back to 16 years ago when he was 10. So that makes Law 26 in the currently, and he is a from Whitetown, and he has white lead disease, which is a disease due from poison. It turns your skin white, and it slowly kills you. And
It is
um,
not contagious.
yep.
So many people think it is.
hmm And he stabs. He also stabs Corazon. That was in one of the flashbacks. In a different flashback, it's Doflamingo's. We see him tortured with his dad and Corazon. Um, it goes back to when his family is actually leaving, and we get to see some discussion among the celestial dragons, and all the other celestial dragons are like, "Why are you leaving? Like, this place is the best." The dad's like, "Nope, I'm gonna leave. And I'm gonna live a life like a normal human." And they're like, "You don't want to live among the gods." And so, like, these celestial dragons literally have been in power for so long, they literally think they're gods, which is bullshit. Um, and The dad is really stupid. He knows nothing about the real world, yet he wants to live among the people. So immediately when they move out of their very GOEs, they get a mansion because they have a shit ton of money. And the kids are all like, "Hey, can we buy some slaves?" And he's just like, "Nope, we have to. I have to teach you how to be a normal person." And he goes into town, and he's like, "Oh," and he's trying to buy some like food or whatever. He's like, "Oh, hello." And they're like, "Hey, we haven't seen you around before. Who are you?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm this person. I used to be a celestial dragon." And everybody in town like looks at him like, "What the fuck, bruh?" And immediately after that, they're being run out of town. There's pitchforks and torches and all that stuff. And so they're basically on the run for a couple years. And their mom dies from a disease because they don't have any doctors surrounding them. And the dad is so like oblivious to like how celestial dragons treat people. Um, and people get, they're he shows them being strong and be like, and people are saying like, "Hey, my sister was a slave for a couple years. She came back and she committed suicide a couple days later. And I know, I used to be a slave, and then fuck you. Like, I don't want to be. I need to get my rage out on you." And they're taking it out on the kids as well, which is kind of too far. But they when you have an angry mob, you have an angry mob. There's nothing you can do about it. A person is smart, but people are dumb. Just remember that. And this was the first time they experienced pain and hunger in their life. And yep, then the mom died, of course. Um, and So that was interesting. A celestial dragon says, "You're nothing more than human." Wow. Okay. Cool beans. I'm just trying to read. All right. So let's see what else. Oh, right. What I forgot to mention was Trafalgar Law is from Flavance, a country called Flavance, and it kind of goes into the history of this white lead disease and how like this country there was like spotches of whiteness, and they didn't know where it came from until one day, they mined it up, and they were able to export it, and they gained a lot of money. The world government, however, realized that this was poison, but they didn't want to tell anyone because they were making too much money off of selling this stuff. So then all of a sudden one day, people just started falling over. It has to do with the amount of what do they call it? a shorter and shorter life expectancy. That's what it was. So what's unique about this is that um, when you first get it, there's like a expectancy. Let's say you only have like 60 years to live, but if you have a kid, that gets cut in half, and so every generation, your lifespan is shorter and shorter. So all in one fell swoop, everybody just started getting this white lead disease, and other countries, instead of trying to help them, they barricaded them. They thought it was um, spreadable. Um, that they could contract it, but obviously they couldn't. And this led to like a war and ruin for everyone. And Trafalgar Law was able to, he watches you know, his parents get shot, and then his sister got burned to death in a hospital when he was going to get help. And uh, can you? I don't want to see a spoiler. Thank you. Um, and yeah, so that was that whole thing, which is why when anybody sees someone with white skin, they automatically think, "Oh my God, this is the worst thing ever." And then the world government didn't help because they didn't inform people of what was happening. They just were like, "Yeah, we'll just let this country just die." And that's why Trafalgar Law wants to kill everything when he meets up with um, Doflamingo the first time. Anyways, so there's that. Oh, and then also Law is invited in the Don Quixote family, um, and he learns that they trade in devil fruits, which gets a lot of money. And even after he stabs Corazon at one point, but Corazon covered it up. And yeah. So, anyways, last part. I swear, I'll make this go faster. Um, Number 4 is Cora Speaks, question mark, and D's. Not D's nuts, just D's. So, the first one is Cora Speaks. So this whole time, Cora doesn't speak at all. We think he's mute from the tragedy when he was a kid. And as soon as, basically, when Trafalgar Law mentions that he has a D in his name, he brings him over to the side and he says, "You can't trust Doflamingo. He's a menace. He's crazy, and I'm here to stop him, even though he's my brother." Um, and what does he say? He says, "Get away from Daffy. He has no humanity. He was basically broken ever since he was a kid." Um, and he mentioned, like, when you're a kid growing up as a celestial dragon, um, all kids have this, like, hey, if you don't go to bed at midnight, the Mooga Man's gonna get you, so go to bed early. Well, in the case of celestial dragons, it's if you misbehave, D will come and eat you. And the other one was D will surely bring us another storm. Those are the things told among the celestial dragons. And he wants to stop Doflamingo, and we basically eventually learn that he's not a bad guy. He's a good guy. He's an undercover agent for the world government. And let's see. So what happens is when Trafalgar Law is like getting worse, he doesn't want him to die. He kidnaps him and he takes him to like literally every hospital that he can, and he's like, "Hey, cure my friend, cure my friend," and like every hospital denies him. And they do this for like 6 months, and nobody wants to help him because they all think it's a disease that can spread easily or whatever, even though it can't because they're stupid. Um, Yep, he's continued to be denied care, and then they eventually form a bond, and he calls him Cora one day when he's like crying over him. Um, and then the thing about the D's is that, yep, I think we talked about this. The D's are the discipline for kids, and they are the sworn enemy of the gods, which is celestial dragons. So whatever happened like the 800 years ago or 900 years ago with the Void Century, that has something to do with between the clan of D's and the celestial dragons. Um, so, yep. Then we learn that Corazon is an undercover agent. He's able to steal the Operation Fruit, and because he's clumsy, he gets caught, and he gets trapped inside Doflamingo's birdcage. Doflamingo senses something is up, so he comes ashore, and Corazon is all shot up by these people, and um, he gives Law a secret message to give to the Marine, and just so happens he gives it to Virgo, who is the undercover Marine that he doesn't know is undercover, and Virgo, Mally, stop it, Mally, you're being annoying. Uh, Virgo, it's hard to speak, Mally, when you're whining like this.
Really?
Mally, it's hard to speak when you're whining. Stop whining.
Continue. I got
Okay.
it.
Cool. Awesome. Hey, I'm on the screen by myself. All right. Gives it to Virgo, and Virgo sees Corazon. It immediately realizes, oh crap, Corazon is a secret agent for the Marine, and so he calls Doflamingo and says, hey, Doflamingo, your brother is here, and he's working for the Marine. So Doflamingo does the birdcage thing, traps everyone inside, and Corazon helps Law by he puts him in a he also has calm fruit, which prevents sound from appearing in a brief area, and he traps him in a treasure chest, and doesn't matter how loud Law screams, as long as Corazon is alive, he can't be heard. And so, luckily for Trafalgar Law, they hear, Corazon is trapped, and he's like, hey kid, I'm gonna die with a smile on my face. Don't worry about me. Trafalgar Law is able to get away. He sneaks in the treasure chest, um, while Doflamingo and his clan hear that there's a boy who escaped, and Corazon hops in this and says, "Oh yeah, that's Trafalgar Law that escaped," even though it was another boy named Dryel, and I don't know if he's relevant, but he was basically this boy helper with this other pirate group. So um, that just happened to be convenient. And Doflamingo kills Corazon, and Law is mad and he's crying and he wants to get revenge. Blah blah blah. So awesome. And then it goes back to the present day, where we hear Trafalgar Law talking to Doflamingo, and he says, "I'm a D2," and this pisses off Doflamingo, and immediately Law loses an arm. So I think it's his right arm or left arm. I can't remember. Right arm. He loses his right arm. So yeah, that's pretty scary. All right, let's see if I missed anything. Corazon fake being mute and making blunders. Sworn enemy of the gods. No marine attacks when Corazon left Doflamingo's ship. That was another clue that to the crew that something was amiss. Let's see. There was a deal in 3 weeks. This is just a little more detail of what is happening. Package to the wrong Marine that went to Virgo. Cora left at ate and came back 14 years later and was able to. He became a Marine basically and was able to infiltrate Doflamingo's pirate group. Um, Cora is trapped, but Law will live. Cora hides Law. Coincidence saves Trafalgar Law. There was a boy in the ship. Um, and then there are 3 main battles going on at the same time. This is after the present day. There's one at the Royal Palace, the Pika statue, and the Smile Factory. Hi. Yeah, I know you're addicted to attention. Hey, I'm almost done, Mally. I'm almost done. We also another cool thing. Dellinger, he is half fighting fish, so we know why he's so like he loves like killing people and stuff. Um, and he loves executing people as well. We learned that too. Um, and then Doflamingo's forgiveness. I forget what that was, but he quote unquote forgives Bellamy. I guess he sets him free, which is weird. Let's see. I think that's it. God, that was rough. That was rough. Went into way too much. That was probably like what 40 minutes.
Just under.
Oh Jesus. Still too much time. Well, in that whole arc, editor, you could at this point you could probably put this at the beginning as maybe a disclaimer or something like that, if you want. Melly, stop it. As a disclaimer of there's a lot of stuff happening backstory wise, and we're going into way too much detail. I understand. Natalie, stop. Going into way too much detail, but this is kind of a necessary thing, I guess. A reaction to it. Mally, stop. Okay, sorry, the dog is being fucking nuts. Anyways, I guess we can just end it here with the dog being an absolute brat. I'm Skeenerd. That's Derp Derp. Do you have anything to say? Anything to add?
No.
I think he's sick, so he doesn't want to talk.